Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, I am joined by Jason from Block Arcade. This is a really cool idea. I really like what they're doing. I played one of their games they have out right now. We're going to talk about that, what its relationship is to IOST. So, Jason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I actually took the day off to kind of work on Stackwave and hang out with you. So, yeah, I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, so Stackwave is the current game you guys have up right now. If you go to the URL, what is the URL for Block Arcade?
So the URL is Block Arcade, but there's a dot in between before the D and E. And I know that's confusing, but it's Block Arcade with a dot before the DE.
So it's blockarca.d. That's what you guys can think of it as. So yeah, it does make it a little tricky to find on the old interwebs on the Google search. So make sure you guys, if you want to go visit it, type in the exact URL. So Block Arcade is a fellow IOST node. So definitely cool to kind of, give you guys some promotion and talk about what you guys are doing. I think it's a really cool idea. I did play Stackwave, which is the game you guys have up right now. I think you're wearing a Stackwave shirt, right?
That's correct. These are
right, there it is.
Excited to get these up.
You got to move those locks out of the way. It just looked like a 150 by 150 pixel thumbnail right there. That's what it looked like. We didn't get the full Stackwave logo because of those luscious locks that you have. You got some heck of a head of hair there. There you go. The whole thing, Like on WordPress, you make that, if you guys do websites at all, you do the preview image, they got the option to just do a cutout square in the middle. That's what it looks like with your hair hanging on the side. But you guys now see the full logo. So tell us a little bit about Stackwave and then kind of give us, I guess, the bigger vision for Block Arcade.
Yeah, so Stackwave was kind of a project that I originally tried to build when I originally got into crypto. So for the Bitcoin blockchain, I saw that there were a bunch of these games popping up that were kind of quick little arcade games. And so I wanted to try to do the same thing. But before I could get the game out, Bitcoin transactions skyrocketed and the prices skyrocketed. So it was like, okay, this isn't the kind of thing you can use for games. So then when I found IOST, I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's like fast, cheap, microtransactions, all that jazz. So, I got with a buddy of mine and we started working on porting it to Stackwave and making it ready. And so, Stackwave is an arcade game and we based it off of a popular arcade game that we're both familiar with. And we wanted to try to emulate the arcade as much as possible, just on the decentralized web. So we do have a native token called Pix that is short for tickets. And so when you play games like Stackwave, on Block Arcade, we reward you with Pix. And you can take those and use those to get, you can exchange Pix for IOST or exchange Pix for ITRX. And kind of in the future, we want to expand that prize wall and turn it into, more like a real arcade. You go in there, they've got an Xbox and a, PlayStation, all that stuff. We would love to be able to do the same. That's like the way future vision is like us actually shipping you stuff.
Yeah, and we discussed getting some signed BitBoy pictures up there, right?
Totally, yeah, 100%.
Framed, signed. I'll even give you cut out a little sliver of my hat and can be like, video worn hat by BitBoy. Obviously, I'm kidding, kind of, unless you're going to do it. But
up there, and I like your background.
Oh, thank you. I made it myself. Well, I didn't make the moon, but I did put it all together. But anyways, so yeah, I think it's a really cool idea, and I think it's a little bit different than a lot of the, games that we've seen on blockchain are gambling games. And, somebody could probably make the argument that this is, in a way, gambling also because, you are paying to play a game, and then you may get a return on it, you may not. But I would definitely compare this more to, like you said, Dave & Buster's. That's a local arcade we have here. I know they've got them across the country. You go in, you play a bunch of games, and you get tickets, and then you can cash those tickets in. And everybody knows that, the amount of money that you would spend to get something that's 200 or 300 tickets, you could just go buy that thing at the store for much cheaper, but that's not the point. The point is playing the game, the competition, trying to get high up the leaderboard and things like that. And then you get a bonus, you get some tickets, you can get a prize. So is that kind of like how you guys envision this?
That is exactly how we envision it. From the beginning, we knew we'd be kind of close to the line of like we knew for sure we wanted to be an arcade. What we didn't know is how the rest of the world will see us. We have worked with an attorney on this to make sure that we're on the arcade side and not the gambling side. And it turns out they're not that different, when it gets down to the law. Things like loot boxes are also there's
interesting.
There.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, because you're paying some amount and getting a random thing back. So there's a lot of interesting, weird things about it, but I think the way we've got it set up makes it like an arcade, and hopefully you're playing these games and you're having fun, and the tickets are like a bonus.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point you bring up. Like there's a lot of stuff that's very close to the line and it gets over. There's a poker website I play at actually called Global Poker, and you have to buy free coins. You buy these gold coins, but they're free. They're not even worth anything. However, every time you buy a certain amount of gold coins, like if you buy $10 worth, they give you $10 of what they call sweeps cash. And that's basically real money you're playing with. And then to cash out, you cash out the sweeps cash. And it's like a game for, or a sweepstakes or something like that, instead of actually gambling, even though it is gambling. So right. I think you're right. The definition of what is and what is not gambling. I mean, you can make the argument that every arcade around the world, like regular arcade, is gambling.
Right. I've seen arcades that have cash up on the prize wall as well, and I think that's what completes the full circle, right? It's if you put cash in and get cash back out, and that's kind of where the line gets drawn on some of these things. Yeah.
So even though a signed picture of me may be worth a lot of cash, it's not cash. So if you guys win that, what pose do you guys want me to do? You want this one, this one? I don't know. I have to figure it out. But, okay, so let's get back to the game itself. So right now you guys have Stackwave. I'll try to put up an image down below us in this interview here where people can kind of see the gameplay of it. But it's basically a game where 3 squares move back and forth, and you got to try to isolate those squares, by having perfect timing in certain spots. And then it gets harder and harder and faster, just like normal games do. So tell us a little bit about Stackwave, and then tell us a little bit about maybe some of the other games you guys might have coming out.
Yeah, so I think Stackwave was just a really great fit for IOST and the blockchain. Like whenever it came down to it, it just really worked out perfectly, and we were able to get it up and running, on IOST very quickly. So I think it's a great introduction to, kind of what we're going to be building. Something that kind of an unintended side effect is Stackwave is a really hard game, kind of by design, and that's really off-putting to new users. And we really want to have a very seamless onboarding experience. Like we want to try to go after non-crypto users by enabling them to, buy a IOST account with a credit card, just like you'd go to Dave & Buster's and load up a card with coins. But we're starting to realize that Stackwave's probably not the best reason to onboard someone. So some of the other games we got planned, I think one is a twist on Tetris that we're calling Money Blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of the way it works is while you're playing Tetris, the game will drop blocks filled with IOST and tickets and other tokens. And if you clear them, you get to keep the tokens that are in there. And now there can also be other blocks that may in the game or affect your game in some way negatively. I think this one's going to be a way more accessible to new users. I think Tetris is a game that anyone can enjoy, and there isn't going to be some kind of like chance that you're just going to lose all your cash or whatever. I'm excited about that one. I think it's going to have more wide appeal.
Yeah, Tetris games are really fun. I mean, obviously, the game of Tetris itself is really fun. I have throwback memories to playing it on my Game Boy back in 1989 when it first came out, and I was just a young wee little bit boy. But you know, it's one of those games that you've seen copied a million times, and the reason is because it works and people like to play it. And I definitely think something like that could add extra incentive because, you know, I played some of these. You might have seen these advertised, these iOS games, these phone games where you can, you know, potentially win money or you can play other players and all that stuff, and they all suck. Like, even on the iPhone, they're all terrible. Like, you're not really winning money on them, and they're real glitchy and things like that. So, you know, the way you described it, where, you know, if you get to a certain level or, you know, if you do like a quad block break, I don't know what they call it, where you do all 4 lines at one time, where maybe you get a bonus, something like that, and you get some IOST. But then kind of over time, you would stack your IOST or whatever you would be getting the ticks during the game, and then you might hit a negative block, and it might chop what you've earned so far during that game in half or something. I think that sounds really cool. Definitely like a game I would like to play.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and we've been talking to a couple of users, you know, and just getting some validation for the idea, doing some user research, and yeah, everyone seems really positive about it. So I'm excited about it. Another thing we're working on is a raffle. This is just something that I think will help bring more traffic to Block Arcade in general.
Yeah.
A raffle is something that, you know, many people can participate in. It's quick, easy, it's cheap, and I think we're going to have an interesting twist on it that makes it, you know, a little unique and a little special for Block Arcade. So I think, yeah, that will be nice as well.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I'll win that. But if I do, people will say it's rigged, so maybe I shouldn't win. But anyways, so
Yeah.
why did you decide to why did you decide to become an IOST node? I guess, are you a block producing node, I would assume? You guys are a block. Can you hear me?
For a second.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take my headphones off.
Yep.
We did sign up to be a block producer, but you know, after we signed up, they changed the requirement to 8 million IOSTs. So we were able to kind of get into the partner program. That way we can get some rewards in the meantime. So that's been you know, that's a really nice benefit, is while we're kind of working on this DApp, we can have the iOS like blockchain kind of support us. It's not a lot, but it's you know, it's helping pay for the game and all that stuff. So that's really cool. And yeah, I think that really both my partner Joey and myself are just extremely fascinated and interested in this space. You know, we're both working, you know, at a WordPress hosting company, and it's just like, it's been fun to play with the newest technology, right? And I think both of us really want to do this full time. So we're trying to get our names out there and build something great that, you know, really, just really helps us and helps the community.
Yeah, awesome. I started out my IOST node career in the partner program as well. And then, you know, I managed to move up to a block producer. So I'm making blocks right now.
Awesome.
I'm not making Tetris blocks, but I'm making blocks right now. So cool. Yeah, I definitely think IOST blockchain is very developer friendly, and I'm hoping that's going to be something that we're going to see with IOST, that over time is going to draw, you know, much more people into what we have in this ecosystem. So kind of just to wrap up the conversation about the blockchain itself, like, what do you think it's going to take to kind of get more people into this ecosystem? Because we know there's already so many great things about it, but we're just having a hard time, I think, connecting people to come over to this side of the decentralized platform.
Right. I think one area that I haven't seen a lot of focus from really anyone is just the fiat on ramp. I think it's been my biggest hurdle, just period. You know, just even trying to build this project. Like, if I need to build it with some money, that needs to come from somewhere, and there's no way currently to go directly to IOST. And so I think many of us have to do this weird, you know, hop from currency to currency to currency until we end up at a exchange that supports IOST or whatever. And so, yeah, I've been talking to this company called Carbon Money. They actually have like a really slick fiat on-ramp, and they recently got Tron support. And they said that they are very interested in adding support for IOST, and they said they were working on it. I'm not sure like what working on it means exactly. But like the dream is you show up at the website, right, because you want to play the game and you don't know anything about IOST, but you got a credit card, and so you should be able to play the game. Like that's the end of it. There shouldn't be this like ridiculous huge barrier to be able to acquire a wallet and acquire IOST. And that's
and that really goes for pretty much everything in crypto, even Bitcoin itself. We're seeing a lot of places like the UK where I'm very concerned about what's going on in the UK right now regarding, their tax authorities sent out a bunch of letters to a bunch of exchanges asking for transaction info, customer information. Then we saw Barclays Bank sever their ties with Coinbase. Then we had Santander, getting the bank there, making it where people can't deposit money into Coinbase. And so, we hear all this all the time, like in the United States, right? Like senators and congressmen recently said, well, we finally have realized we can't ban Bitcoin. Like, okay, that's great. Like, that's awesome for us. However, they can attack the on-ramps and the off-ramps. And that is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the on-ramps in the UK attacked. And it probably won't be long before we're seeing them attacked in other places. I mean, we know we already have to some extent. So it seems like we're creating this environment in crypto where it's getting harder and harder to put money in instead of easier and easier. So I don't really know what that says about the space in general, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating, because I keep coming across companies like I guess Carbon. I'll go back to Carbon. I think they're being forced to block U.S. customers as well. Which is like, okay, well, I'm going to do this work to get you to support IOST, but then I don't get to use it, so that's kind of a really big bummer. And yeah, it's just, I know it's a difficult problem. I just don't understand why. Like, it doesn't seem that hard.
It's because the banks have the lobbyists. I mean, that's what this is. No one said this was going to be easy.
Right.
You don't see a total financial revolution in the world in a span of a few years. I mean, this is going to be,
this may be controversial, but I really think Facebook can help us here because they do have the lobbying power. If Facebook wants to build a fiat on-ramp to the crypto world, I believe they're going to do it. And I think we'll all benefit from that in some way,
I've said, I mean, I'm all for LibreCoin. I mean, I think that it is going to, if it is able to launch, which right now is actually the big question, are they going to be able to do it because of all the scrutiny they faced from Capitol Hill? But if they do, regardless of whether or not, they do the Facebook thing we're used to, which is they end up stealing all of our data and giving it to everybody, even though they told us they wouldn't, we expect that. We expect them to do that. However, they're out there taking the bullets right now for every crypto company.
Definitely.
Yeah, for every tech company that wants to get in crypto. Walmart is sitting laying in the weeds watching what's happening. I mean, Amazon and Google have got to be doing the same thing. So I think that at this point, like, it's definitely good. I don't know what the end result is going to be, but man, if they were able to create some kind of, on-ramp for getting people into crypto, not just in the community, but with their dollars, I think that would definitely be a great thing.
Yeah, and then we would just port Libra to our chain and do swaps and, basically just let them do all the work to get them onto crypto, and then we can swap them over to whatever chain we want, and they, and they'll have more freedom and more privacy and more whatever, probably. I think that's going to be really fun. Hopefully.
Yeah. So the Libra wallet's supposed to, or the Libra has the Calibra wallet, and I think they were talking about that Calibra wallet's going to be able to hold different currencies, which would definitely be, what we're looking for, so definitely be pretty cool. So, well, Jason, we definitely appreciate you, joining us today to talk about Block Arcade. I'm really excited to see, it develop further. Blockchain gaming is definitely something that has got a long ways to go. I remember kind of the heyday of internet, don't want to say internet gaming because it's still going strong, but just like the kind of phone app games.
Right.
You know,
Totally.
yeah, it's kind of
all
like the
the
mid
fast games.
2000s, like addictinggames.com and all this stuff were blowing up. So, you know, this would definitely be something cool if we can kind of see that same wave come in blockchain. So definitely appreciate you coming on and looking forward to seeing the development.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. And yeah, see you around.
Yeah, you guys make sure to go to arca.d.
Oh God.
Sorry, it's Block Arcade, and the dot is in between the C. Well, it's in between the A and the D in the word arcade. It's kind of complicated. I'll drop the link below. How about that,
You can
guys?
also go to blockarcade.io.
There you go. Blockarcade.io, and it'll forward you where you need to be. So thanks a lot, Jason. We'll talk to you later.
See you.